Welcome to Stroke, the Journey of Things podcast. My story, I'm telling you my story, chapter 4. And I want you to know the reason I'm breaking this up in chapters, this mini-series, is to I'm getting prepared to write a book this year. Called Stroke, My Journey Within. And, chapter 1, we kind of discussed my pre-aneurysm warning signs, and I originally gave Bridget background because during chapter 1 it turned upside down. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Chapter 2 was waking up in the hospital, crippled with fear. I fear terror, basically. Chapter 3 was a journey of a near-death experience I had. And now we're on to chapter 4, and I'm going to use this if you're watching this live or on the replay. Please put in comments what advice you would give to a caregiver, family member, medical staff, anybody that you know that would have benefit from your comment, from a stroke survivor perspective. I'm going to leave about a few minutes at the end of this podcast, near the end of this podcast, to bring your comments on screen with me here. But this topic, I think, is so needed out there in the stroke community, in the medical community, and family members, that there are certain things that only a stroke survivor perspective can tell people on the outside looking in, such as family members, doctors, caregivers, whatever it is. But I want you to know that I think that we can make an impact together. So if you're watching this live, you'll have a chance the last few minutes putting comments. I'll bring comments on the screen, or you could just leave your comment in the replay. If you're watching the replay, leave your comment. What experience, what takeaway from going through stroke? What advice could you give anybody? And I'm gonna do it because we don't mind time. I think it's we only got 30 minutes together, so bear with me. So here's my first. I will only do my top 5. I figured I had enough time to do my top 5 pieces of advice. Here's my number 1 takeaway from my stroke in the hospital. I don't know how many of you experience this, but man, when I had my brain ends of my stroke, my brain was on fire. I lay there in the bed. Brain was absolutely sensitive. Any sound, especially light, was so painful. I spent most of my days putting my arm on my eyes not to see the light. But there's nothing worse. And if you've experienced smoke, we'll get to this. But nothing is worse than sitting laying in a hospital bed, staring at fluorescent lights. Those fluorescent lights pierced my brain. So if you want to do your stroke survivor a favor, a huge favor, I knew about this was possible because I don't know where the nurse came from, but she came in and said, "Oh, you can have them turn lights off if you want in your room." And so I did. And what a relief and game changer that was. Not to be staring at lights all day long. because it would, like I said, it was painful. And it was great to see that I didn't have to keep my mood, the sensation burning in my brain, everything went down as soon as lights were turned off in the room. So any medical professional, any caregiver, any family member, turn lights out in the room. It'll make a huge difference. Stroke survivor will appreciate it. I know for me it was brutal. So I know when they turned lights out, it was very soothing to my brain. So that was, that's my first suggestion. Turn the lights in the stroke survivor's room. Here's my second one. I think stroke clinicians need to teach about mindset. I believe, my personal opinion, before you start any therapy, physical therapy, teach the stroke survivor about mindset, how critical it is. Don't don't see it's gonna be you're gonna set your mind to recover from stroke or rebuild your life after stroke. So please teach about mindset within the medical community because I think mindset is the foundation for for stroke survivors to be successful and to live a successful, fulfilling life after stroke. Is they need to know about mindset. And so if stroke TV media, I can help teach your clients about mindset, I'm here for you. Here, in fact, let me pull up my email. That way you'll be able to get a hold of me if you want. And you'll see it. You'll start seeing it scroll near the bottom. You may be able to scroll past that to the bottom. You want to get a hold of me, and I can keep up with the team. I can personally talk about mindset to strokes of our groups anywhere in the world via obviously via this platform. But take a look, teach about mindset. And my fourth one or third one, I think the word recovery is kind of misleading. I think it instills, at least I'm speaking on my opinion. It when you tell a stroke survivor we're going to recover, when I get a cut on my arm or you break a bone, whatever it is, you recover. Your body does it automatically. No, you don't need to push. You don't need to try. You don't need to do anything. Your body will automatically begin to recover. So when they began to use the word recovery in my stroke in the hospital, even in the rehabilitation part of it, it kind of fed me the sense that the body, my brain is going to recover. It's going to automatically kind of heal itself. Well, after 15 years post stroke, I found this is not true. This is the better words that I came up with is called rebuilding your life after stroke. So I believe that every stroke survivor out there needs to put the effort in to rebuild the life. See, recovery doesn't require action, any effort on the patient's end. The ability to use the word recovery means you're just going to recover. Well, in all reality, if you're a stroke survivor, you know just as well as I do, you have to rebuild your life. You have to rebuild your life and do hard work therapy to get in. After 15 years, you think I would have learned everything. Well, that's not true. I'm still learning. This is a journey. I'm still finding my own self discipline and doing the hard work it takes to rebuild my life after a stroke. So if you're out there in the medical community, the medical field, or if you're a stroke survivor, or if you're a caregiver, a family member, You're going to tell, I suggest you tell the stroke survivor, you're going to need to rebuild your life. From day one, tell them that. Don't try to reframe and use the word recovery. It's not automatic. You have to rebuild your life after stroke. And the difference I see in the words is this: recovery requires no action. Recovery is like when you cut your arm and you recover. You break a bone, it recovers. This is not true for the brain injury for a stroke survivor. You have to rebuild. You have to put in the hard work to do it. And I'm still stuck with that to this day, 15 years later. I still struggle with self discipline. So, in comments, again, just feel free to comment what you experience, what you have thought of. But, I highly recommend that you don't use the word recovery, that you explain to the stroke survivor, but you have to rebuild your life. You have to put in the work, the effort, the time to stimulate what's called neuroplasticity. That's again, in my book, when I write my book, I will go into deeper, much, much deeper detail on all the categories. This is a playlist called Aaron's Story, Aaron's Stroke Story. But it's on YouTube. You better do it. And don't forget, you got to subscribe to YouTube. But I want to make sure that you guys don't mislead or accidentally mislead anybody. You have to build your life to a stroke. Not to just sit, eat potato chips, watch a TV. It's not going to do it automatically. You need to set apart time to rebuild your life to stroke. Really, really important to take the effort to do it. But let me go on. Here's my third one. Ask, and that's true for caregivers, family members, whatever, any advocate of a stroke survivor. Ask if the hospital supplies a patient social worker. I don't know why they don't volunteer. I would say most hospitals have a patient social worker, advocate, helps us get ready to kind of transition into disability, helps to get all the paperwork in order. That way, when you get out of the hospital, your check from your disability is not for off. When I know so many stroke survivors that did not utilize a patient social worker, and months, not a year later, they still don't have disability check. I mean, the biggest impact, one of the biggest impacts that my wife and I suffered was the loss of income. We lost basically everything we have. Thank God my wife kept us in the house. She went so far as to sell a wedding ring to make it more expensive for a few months. But I think it's important that you or the stroke survivor be told by you that there is a possibility of a patient social worker. So make sure you ask a hospital worker if that's true, because you might find out they have that service available. In fact, I don't know of any stroke survivor or any hospital that doesn't have some sort of patient social work for stroke survivor. And minds like mine, we didn't know it, but again, a nurse came in and told us about it. And sure enough, I had disability payments coming in within 2 months of a stroke. So they help you get all the paperwork you need to file for disability. In fact, they notify you're going to be filing for disability. So utilize the patient social worker. Ask your hospital. Ask the head nurse, whatever. Do you have a patient social worker that can help you get the paper ready to go on disability. And you find that's true, they do. So again, that was my that's my tip. Now here's one that's kind of important. Remember, I told you when I first started this podcast that my brain was on fire. Turning out the lights were critical and made a huge difference in my comfort as a stroke survivor. But here's another one. When you come into the room of a stroke survivor, I mean, was mute. I was locked in. I couldn't talk to anybody, but they would immediately walk in the room and begin to talk to me. Well, I couldn't understand pretty much 90% of what they were saying. So if you do something that offers comfort to the stroke survivor, offer the ability to just be there for them, hold their hand, pray for them. It does, whatever you could do for them is much appreciated. They will appreciate it. So many times I can remember I was locked in, which many of you have not been locked in. I couldn't speak. I could move my eyes, but I could hear people talking, but I could talk back to them. So I suggest any stroke survivor or anybody taking care of a stroke survivor, whether you're a spouse, caregiver, nurse, clinician, whatever, keep your words to a minimum and just hold their hand. Because what we need at that point, nothing more than just touch. That there's an energy in just the power of touch. When you try to talk to stroke survivors, our brains just went through a major assault. And it's really, really, really hard to communicate. For me, it was impossible. I was locked in. But make sure that you're just there for them. Hold their hand and just know you love them. That really is all you can do. I want to talk a little bit about what will make a stroke survivor feel as comfortable as possible at the hospital. And let me know what's out there. I see a couple of people out there watching. Please let me know if you're out there what's going on. I definitely been asked. I'll take a few minutes to the end, and we can talk about the subject. But just like I said, keep your words to a minimum. So let me scroll back. I want to touch one more time quickly, just kind of recap on that. So you want to make sure that if you're a caregiver or spouse, that you ask the hospital if they have a patient social worker, and they'll help you get your disability paperwork in order. And that's really critical. And for those out there, get your doctor to sign off you're disabled and you're not going to be able to work. That makes a huge difference in disability. But so, like I said, if you're a caregiver, spouse, ask if they have a patient social worker. And try not to expect or to use the word recovery because it's really misleading and instills a false hope. I know I can remember I was thinking, oh, I'm going to recover. Like I cut my finger or something, I broke a bone. It's going to recover. My brain is going to just recover. Well, that's not true. We don't just recover from a stroke. We actually have to rebuild our lives of stroke. It's a hard road that all of us, stroke survivors and spouses and caregivers, it's a hard road. And we have to rebuild and make a conscious effort to rebuild. I'm still learning it. After 15 years, I do not have it down. I don't. I don't have it down. I'm still learning to rebuild my life with a stroke. So let me go with the last one, last couple here. Mindset. Mindset is one of those things that Stroke TV Media, I being CEO of Stroke TV Media, mindset is foundational. Teaching a stroke survivor or brain injury survivor correct mindset and how to overcome that negativity. I mean, you get flooded with inadequate negative attacks every day. I still do. 15 years later, I still get attacked. My mindset is constantly being attacked. So you must learn to to control your mind, what you're thinking. The key to mindset, if I just say one thing, when you have a attack or that you're thinking you're not worthy or that you're not good enough as a stroke survivor, that isn't true. You need to have a mindset of one that takes that negative thought. Don't fight it. Don't resist it because what you resist persists. But you replace it. So something comes to your mind, just say, oh, you're nothing but a burden. Don't resist it, let it pass by. You don't have to dwell on it. But the trick is a key to mindset is to replace it with something positive. So when your brain or when your mind or whatever circumstances dictate that you are not adequate, that you're not good enough, that you're nothing but a burden, replace it with something positive, saying, I am getting better. I am strong. I am. And just believe something better. Don't try to stop the thought. Mindset is so powerful. Once you learn it, I've come a long way from my mindset. I was suicidal in the first beginning of stroke. And then after my 15 years, I'm now just understanding that my mindset, the way I talk to myself, is critical. It's foundational. And this voyage, Stroke TV Media and myself really drive home how important mindset is. It's critical to what we do. So if there's anybody out there, if you watch this replay, please put in comments any tips that you have for clinicians here. If you have caregivers, spouses, children, if you have any tips watching this on replay that you could give anybody in the medical community or anybody that's involved with taking care of a stroke survivor, please put in comments. I'll put those in my book. I'll put the stuff. I will have a chapter like this, chapter 4, that tips from a stroke survivor's perspective. Somebody, I don't know many of you out there as a stroke survivor experience this, but they churn you out. They, they, it's not their fault. It's way medical care is now. But they get in a routine basically where all stroke survivors are the same. That we're not. We're absolutely individual. And the way you talk to us and what you talk to us about, you need to treat us like an individual because we are not all the same. Really all the same. So if you again have a tip for a medical clinician, caregiver, or family member, what you experienced would have helped you had you known this. You see it now. Please put it in the comments. I will include it in the book and let people know because there will be a section with this title in the book. And I will think about it much, much deeper than that. I mean, so many times during this podcast, there are so many things that come up in this series. And I mean, there's a playlist called Aaron's Journey on YouTube, Stroke TV Media YouTube channel called Aaron's Journey or Aaron's, I don't know. I'll put that link in the description. But it really, you need to go through it all and comment on each one. I'll include in my book. But, it's really, we depend. I mean, there is nothing more to get emotional again. There we go. By the way, PTSD is very real. I became so emotional just talking about this. I get it. If I'm not careful, I will go into full cry, and I don't want to do that while I'm hosting a podcast. But PTSDs, emotional instability, is quite common in stroke. So be as patient you can, caregiver, family member with your stroke survivor, because there's going to be some emotional issues. They're going to we get outbursts, and emotionally unstable. So, on behalf of all my other stroke survivors out there, to all your spouses, be patient. We don't mean what we say a lot of times. We're just being emotional reacting. Well, believe it or not, we're out of time. But I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for, again, putting comments, any tips that you have that would have helped you during your stroke stay at the hospital. But I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. Thank you for watching this on replay. Without you, we wouldn't have this. We are a community. The goal of this podcast is nothing more than to bring us together and we can talk about this. It means just talking at you. It's me being a part of you, a community of stroke survivors. That's who we are. So I want to wish all of you out there, caregivers, clinicians, family members, wish you the absolute best. Have a great day and thank you for watching this video.